Hey, it's Joe McGovern here at TheWrap studio at the Toronto Film Festival, and I'm here with Ditto Montiel and the coolest cast at this year's Toronto Film Festival for Riff, which just had its world premiere this afternoon. This is a movie that depends, I think, on a big crowd. It's a dark comedy that they don't really make anymore. Um, Tell me how it went this afternoon at your premiere.
It went great. I mean, the people seem to like it. I certainly did. So I'll take that.
This is your ninth film, and you've worked with some, amazing actors over those years. But what about being on set with this group?
Yeah.
I mean, this has got to be like once in a lifetime.
Yeah. It's intimidating, and then it's pretty, exciting. Of course.
Jennifer, what was your entryway into this material? I've heard Ditto describe it as sort of like a mammoth play that no one had ever discovered, and I'm so tempted to sort of spoil some of the jokes because they're all so good. But there's a sequence, and I won't say who it is, but you're holding up a ticket to a concert by a beloved Canadian performer and have like a monologue that is we're not quite sure what to make of it. It's very funny, but then it's also there's pathos to it. What was your reaction to reading the material and thinking what you could do with this?
Except for maybe scoring some alcohol or blow or whatever, I feel like everything that comes out of her mouth is quite honest. I love people like that. I grew up in Massachusetts, and some people just can't lie there. They sort of just say what's, and that's sort of, I thought was Ruth. I just thought it was sort of, um, I don't know. I knew people like her. I knew people like her. I know Ditto said he knew someone that was very much like her, and sort of described it. But um, I don't know. Sometimes when something is very simple, like her, it's I don't know. It's way more rewarding in some way.
Yeah, yeah. I'd love to know just about being on set. Maybe Ed, can you talk about this? Must be for you sort of some of the best case scenario because you get to be with other actors. It's a pretty small cast, actually, a lot of dialogue, and a movie that has shifting tones that depend really on performance and and direction. What was it like going through the lines, finding the right rhythm and tone to everything?
Well, I think the script is what it is. I mean, on the screen, and so you just trying to penetrate that material, scene by scene, line by line, with whoever you're working with, and it kind of takes care of itself if it's landing. You know what I mean? If you know what you're talking about and you mean what you're saying, it carries you along. And ditto. The sets for it's relaxed. We're having a pretty good time, and there's not a lot of tension. There's not a lot of angst. It's just like let's nail this stuff and kick ass.
Gabrielle, you play Ed's current wife in the film, and Jennifer is his ex-wife. You're probably the most normal, possibly the most normal person in the film. Did you have to work on that because with a lot of
Work on being normal.
work
Somewhere
on
my husband's like, yeah.
I phrased that wrong. Did you have to work on not uh, going the temptation to go push the character with all these great actors around you? You have to play the straight person, really. What was that like? What was the challenge of that?
It wasn't. It's every role is a challenge, right? Because like I don't know characters, people like a lot of the characters that are in the film. So I allowed for there to be discovery. Um, I allowed for there to be truth in the moment and just play what's happening in the moment. Um, but yeah, being able to come to work, are you freaking kidding me? With like legends, you know? It's it's just not that it just wasn't that uh difficult of a task to want to do to dive in something deeper. For me, Sandy was all about someone whose life is encased in shame and the fear of public humiliation, and just how far she would go to let those fears win. And so that kind of grounded her normalness, except she's a fucking wreck. She's a wreck. She's a wreck.
Emanuela and Miles. Miles, you're so good in this movie, and it's such a great for us to just sort of be discovering you, and we can't wait to see all the other stuff you're going to do.
Thank you.
We also mentioned that Louis Pullman is in the film, Pete Davidson, Bill Murray. Can you put into words what it was like on the set with that whole, because you share moments with every one of them over the course of the film?
I mean, like Ditto said, it was pretty intimidating. But I mean, after really day one of working with Ed and Gabrielle, I mean, they were just really supportive. And once they set that standard, just like it's fine. It's great showing up to work every day working with them.
And Emmanuel, one of the things I love about the movie is there's a great structure of flashbacks every 10 minutes or so where we get more information. Sometimes it's comedic, sometimes it's very obviously darkly comedic. Sometimes it's actually pretty serious. And you're in several of those that are really important. How did you balance the working in those flashback scenes versus working in the more present moments where you're pregnant for most of the film?
I know. Well, I think the movie was structured really well that way, and going between the flashbacks and the present moment. So I think I was just pregnant at the present moment, not pregnant. So that actually helped me a lot, also with physical movement, and obviously in any possible way. The pregnancy really helps when a character is pregnant. I discovered that being really fascinating to explore that, and I would say that's been kind of the main difference.
Curious to ask all of you too, where the film was shot, and how long did it take, to do it? Because it feels like, because there is a small number of cast members, but then again, this material has to be, because the tone shifts. This material has to be done just right to make it all work. Was there a lot of rehearsal? Did you even have time for rehearsal?
No, there wasn't any rehearsal. I mean, there was a lot of discussions with everybody. And that's such a big. I'm always finding things as they go. That's the production designer we joke with is like, don't even show Ditto a bathroom unless there's a toilet. He's got no vision, And so with each role and each line, everything is rediscovered at all times, And each actor brings their own can of worms that I'm like, wait, really, And then it takes me a minute, and so it was really exciting in that sense, all the things that Sandy can't say and Ruth can't help but say, were so fun to be around, and then, you've got people switching parts. So it was one of those kind of dream scenarios where you're playing with tone all the time, and trying to keep it together. So
Mention the name of the screenwriter for us.
there he is, John Polano. Right
John
there.
Pilato, he's in the room. Good to see you.
Yeah.
And
we shot it all in New Jersey,
all
in
New
22
Jersey,
days. Yeah.
In 22 days. Were you trusting the script basically, or was there room to sort of put some of the dialogue in your own voice? Jennifer, when you were making it, or was it basically you were trusting what was there to carry the scenes?
Yeah, it was. I didn't think there was anything really sort of incomplete in the script. I felt like everything was quite specific, and I definitely sort of had an idea of what was supposed to happen. But I do have to say that Ditto is a very laid back director. He sort of lets you do a thing, and it's incredibly helpful if you want to sort of I don't know, you have your own idea in your head at home or wherever you are, sort of working on your thing. But then when you get to the set and you're doing your thing, I don't know. I think Ditto sort of allowed a lot of great things to happen that I don't know if I would have done with another director.
There's a lot of fun outtakes. I promise you that. Oh boy, we had so much fun. Yeah.
Ed, I'm just curious, as we get close to finishing up, there's what I love about the movie is that there's a sense of a live wire quality to it. It's sort of a dangerous comedy, and there's at least one major moment where the audience is invited to laugh, and I'm sure they did, at something pretty twisted, having to do with next door neighbors. Let's say, I don't want to spoil anything else,
Yeah.
but there. So you know what I'm. But I mean, there is a real place for work like this. I would assume you agree. Comedy that's living on the edge a little bit more.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. I'm not sure if that's a question or.
I just feel like sometimes there's films perhaps are safer now, in some ways, and this one I think I appreciated more. I appreciated it more because it was so unexpected.
To me, it has a similarity to Love Lies Bleeding, which is a film I did not long ago.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of the energy and the violence and the humor, and the pacing, and it's life. It's got a lot of life to it. You know, and it's buoyant. You know, it's like, and it's entertaining. It's dangerous. It's funny. It's touching at times, and you know, that's what life's about. So I think it's encompasses a lot of what people feel and don't always have a chance to experience or express. I mean, I think it's kind of liberating, this kind of movie.
Yeah. I want to congratulate everybody for it. Miles, again, I just you're really the star of the film, I should say. And your work is great.
Thank you.
Everybody here, thank you. We're really honored to have you visit us, and congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.